for conducting the most toughest session in any seminar. And to wake up everybody, I have to use some statistics. Normally, I understand that everybody knows statistics in India very well than anybody else. Somebody used statistics to see the path. Somebody used for me, statistics is like a street light. Somebody used to see the path. Somebody used a drunk person's use the street light to get up when you fall down. But today I will use the statistics just to wake up everybody, nothing else. Just Mr. Nair mentioned, Indian growth rate is slow. I think it's not there, it's not slow. If we talk Bangladesh, we are talking 15%, and this year the projection is 24%. Vietnam, 14%. I think they will still maintain after booming economy. Indonesia, 5%. China, 3%. Sri Lanka, 3%. India, 3%. Now, these statistics are self-explanatory. Being in India, how many competitive advantage we have? Major raw material producer. How many Bangladesh not produce even a single kg of cotton? Strong backward supply chain. Bangladesh producing only 15% of raw material of their product. Investment capabilities. I don't need to speak much. Nobody can compare Bangladesh in comparison of India and other countries. Buyer-friendly environment. Everybody knows Bangladesh, infrastructure challenges and other challenges. Another statistics. Total export in apparel industry is $380 billion. Now, China, 166 billion. Italy, $21 billion. Germany, $20 billion. Bangladesh, $20 billion. India, $14 billion. Turkey, $14 billion. Vietnam, $13 billion. France, $10 billion. Belgium and Indonesia, $88 billion. Others, 75. Now, what statistics say? Where we should see it? Where we should see it? Like, now, I will just share, just my thought is that India has potential. The business from China is shrinking. Even it shrink only 2%. For India, it become 25%. But we need to change. We need to change from a garment producer to the manufacturer. A convert to a businessman. Export house to an institution. When I say producer, manufacturer, we called ourselves garment manufacturer. We have to stop calling ourselves as a garment manufacturer. We are a manufacturer. Every industry faces the crisis, starting from automobile to today textile to garment. Every industry bounce back. The only way we have to change our thought process and the thinking. Converter. We think we take the order and manufacture and supply back to the buyer. We need to change. We need to think as a businessman. We need to have a vision in a different perspective. We are operating kind of an export house. We need to think as an institution where we are developing the human capital. How? A shift in our thought process from visible to invisible. When we have entered into the industry from the quota regime, we are still thinking in the past. We have an experience, we have information, but we are not looking in the future. Statistics proves that there is an opportunity. Now we need to start seeing invisible than the visible. I will take an example from the childhood we everybody listen. This example, I hope everybody must have listened 1,000 times. There is a two kind of people who see the glass is half empty, the glass is half full. But the person who make the difference, they see glass is always full. By definition, the glass is cylindrical, which is closed from one side and open from another. A glass can never be empty. It is half full of water, half is full of air. The matter of fact is that we can live without the water for a day or two, but we cannot live without the air for a minute. If we start seeing those invisible opportunities, we can make the difference. The visible is the past. Invisible is the future. We need to think and live in the future. Perception. Nothing is going to happen. We have our own assumptions. We are living in a perception than the vision. If a person, Wright brothers, never thought of that a man can fly, even his own father has resistance him, giving the God don't wanted a man to fly. Otherwise, the God has given the wings to the small sparrow. He could have given to the man, but they thought, no, a man has got the brain where he can think in the future and make a difference. Information. In the world of technology, on internet, we have enough information. Knowledge has no value today. It is all about using the information as a strategy. If we go by know-how, it is not going to make a difference. So what we need to move from know-how to do-how, which I feel is more important in today's technological world. When we say know-how, means we use network, we use information. We are running the business for the years with our experience, individual experience, small group experience, have studied various successful models, though we don't know the root cause of the success. We always analyze failure, we never analyze the success. Whether we got the success because of internal strength or because of external strength, we need to look into it. Take advantage of other experience. Sometimes we got somebody who can give some share of our experience and we take the advantage. It is good. Implemented various processes. But what about do-how? Now the world is changing. We are going to see the invisible changing in the world. Now how to make a difference? Fundamentally, if we don't look garment industry and don't look ourselves as a garment manufacturer, if we start looking, we are a businessman. The fundamental of any businessman stand on 3 legs or 3 spheres. I call it feasibility, liquidity, and sustainability. Any business we run, the feasibility. Feasibility is not just putting the facts together in terms of top and bottom line and drawing whether the project or this idea is feasible or not. We need to go beyond. We need to understand the customer need. Customer need is changing. Product and market forecast. We need to get into the skin of the customer. We say India, China, Bangladesh, all. India, the biggest strength we have is the brain power and the manpower in terms of thought process. But how much energy we are putting to identify the product as per the customer need. Buyer and strategy forecast. I think we are lacking in India. Competitors understanding, macro and micro level. Dynamic, visible business model with clear definition, clear parameters for each component of the cost. Financial liquidity. The second sphere, I call it a liquidity. How much visibility across the organization we have in terms of feasibility, financial transparency, in terms of liquidity and other financial issues. What is the cost of finance? How every person in the organization has the ability and visibility to see and act as a business manager, then a production manager, and a commercial manager, and a quality manager. I will give few examples. Like we talk cut to ship ratio. We say 97, 98, 95, 96. But I would like to share few facts. The moment we approach in the organization, the change approach from a production manager or a quality manager to a business manager, the cut to ship ratio, I don't know how many people will believe, but it's a fact. It's a 99.5% in case of chino and 5-pocket jeans. It may be unbelievable, but it is a fact how it is being done. The person, I will give share one example, like as such efficiency is good, quality is good, process is good, but even we could achieve up to 98.5 or just near 99. So we start looking, again what I mentioned, from visible to invisible. Never look, okay, our cut to ship is 95, 98, 97, good. Don't compare with the past. See where these 3% going, what we can do. There are in the organization, out of 100, 95% or 99.5% people are looking into the good product, which is 97 or 95%. But how many people are looking for 3%, which is equivalent to your total profit, what you earn over a year of period? So what strategy we adopt? We start focusing not on what we get, what we are not getting, the balance 2% or 1%. We start taking out every piece. We all know that a tailor can convert 2 pieces into 1 or 1 piece. He can replace the part. Even we have to pay $1 per piece. We save $5 on that piece, where we are able to manage our cut to ship ratio 99 plus. By seeing the finance, because the moment people are seeing, oh, I'm bleeding, this much loss, this is the money, this is the money. When people start seeing the money, as a business manager, their thought process change, their way of working change. So where we need to convert our managers from production manager and industrial manager to commercial manager to business manager. Third sphere is sustainability, the operation excellence. It is a combination of decision support system, process, empowerment, productivity through flexibility, cost. So these are the, if we focus on 3 macro perspective and drill down in each perspective, we find the gaps. Typical way of working, what we see as a smart businessman is that if you talk in any factory, we calculate nowadays SAM, okay, standard allotted minute. 10 worker work 600 minute total divided by SAM, this should be my target. Whereas nowadays the formula is changed. Typical way of costing is cost plus profit is equal to sales price. Things has changed. Price are market driven. The sales price minus profit is equal to cost. Put that cost in front of your manager. They will achieve it. I believe they can achieve it. This is a typical formula. Now, the key is to plan in advance. I will give few examples. Do we know the line cost? Everybody knows the line cost. For example, I will take one example. Say, line cost is $1,000 a day. Do we know our contribution per piece after taking out the raw material? Of course, everybody calculate at the time of costing. Say $1. So, we know the target. Instead of calculating SAM and so many things, we know the target. Line cost per day divided by contribution is equal to 1,000 pieces. We need to produce 1,000 pieces. If we have an order size of 15,000 pieces, we need to take 15 days to complete this order. If we are not completing this order in 15 days, we are going to make a loss. A simple mathematics, nothing much computer, any analysis or anything is required. If we plan this order, if my planner planned the order in 17 days, we know we are going to lose $2,000. Instead of working anything, just think, what is the way out to save this $2,000? That is the only key point. I don't think any order we book, we don't need more than 10-15 minutes to reach to this conclusion. And we spend a lot of time in planning. Very simple way of planning. Just give it the order to the planner, he will place it. If we plan less than the target days, the entrepreneur or the CEO get the SMS on a phone. There is a tool available. He get the SMS on a phone. The new order has been planned in 17 days, where it should be planned in 15 days. No need to waste time on planning. Like, we need to create the model where we need to plan. One more example in planning I want to give is that, like, we have taken example, plan profit, don't plan production. Focus on delay, then deliveries. I will give another example, the tools available where the planner, the moment he plug in the order into the system, the CEO and the operation head or a entrepreneur get the message that because of low productivity, the order which you are going to ship after 3 months, which will get delayed by 2 days. So that you don't need to do and sit and do any meeting to make a planning. Instead of that, you have to constantly think for improvement in terms of operation excellence, in terms of product development and other. Plan inflow, then unit. We plan production. How many pieces we are going to produce? No need to plan production. As a businessman, we need to focus on our inflow. When I'm going, if on online basis, in the morning I should know what is going to my inflow for the day, for the month. I know my budget on my fingertips. I should know how much inflow I'm not going to get in each month in a simple 4-line report. How many months my inflow is meeting my budget? I know that means that month either my capacity is not booked, or I know report is available to me on the morning in 2 minutes that which order is not giving me profit. So I don't need to do any analysis, any report making. I am online with the system. Now, as I mentioned, where we, as a business owner, where our time goes in finance, banks, loans, interest payments, cash flows, as an operation person, productivity, order delivery, WIP, manpower, sourcing, purchasing, and other supplies, marketing, getting orders, meeting potential buyer, etc. I will just share my experience. I may be wrong, but because I'm more than 10 years away from the country, my understanding based on some of the statistics I have gathered through my colleague, where we as an Indian manufacturer spend the time. Operation 70%. When I say operation, it covers all logistic in terms of supply chain management. Marketing 10%. We use our old connection and network. Finance 20%. Whereas the other countries, how they are spending the time. Market and business development 70%, finance 5%, operation 15%, organization and human development 15%. Keep the eyes on the ball, not on the scoreboard. We are very good in reading through the balance sheet and profit and sales figures. But in today's world, people see the cash flow, which is the lifeline of the business. For profitability, the model and the system and the mechanism available, you don't need to read the balance sheet. Let it be for the government and statutory requirement. You don't need to see the P&L account, because let the finance and accountant need to deal with that. But as a business manager, we need to manage the cash. And the mechanism need to be separate, because most of the company, they get overshaded. Because one thing we say is the garment industry is the least value added industry, which is approximately 25 to 20%. Balance is the raw material. The raw material, it is just a simple 70% of the total cash flow, typical cash flow what we manage in India. It is overshadowing our profitability in our cash flow. We use creditors' money wherever in the latest technology. You don't need whatever, the moment you get your export revenues, pay and settle the creditors and just work on your own net inflow. And if you start looking your cash flow, only what belong to you, you will understand. You don't need to see the balance sheet and the P&L to understand your profitability. We need to change our mechanism. Few of the thought process I would like to share. Just go back. As a business manager, market and trend analysis we need to understand. I was in US for 20 days, in Europe also, and it was surprise. Being in Bangladesh for 6 years, I was thinking, being a producer for Walmart and Gap, for Levi's and for A&F, other buyers, that I can see the presence in Bangladesh, in US market as well as European market. But after visiting H&M, Walmart, Levi's, Gap, JCPenney, Kohl's, I could see, if anybody has visited, if you see, the Bangladesh presence is in any store is not more than 5%. India is 2 and 2.5%. China is still 70%. Vietnam is around 8%. What point I wanted to make here is, if we go and see those products, what are the products available in the store, we can find our niche and we can make a difference as an Indian manufacturer. Buyer relationship. It is, we have most of the case transitional relationship. Whereas I have seen in other country, the association start from the development of the product. Development starts at least 2 years in advance. We do our development, say forecast for 2013, but we all know with the production cycle starting from product development to delivery is around 280 to 360 days. 120 days normally in case of women you get to deliver the product. So any product development you do, when you will go to the customer for 2013, they already finalize their product line. So we may feel we have not got any success, but it is not you are getting, you go to the customer, you will get any order or not, but you are going to the customer to understand that taste, the buyer understand that you have the capabilities, you have the mindset, you have the attitude for the product, you have the feel for the product. Once the buyer sense that, he start working with you for the next season, maybe 2015 or 14. That much businessman approach, when I have discussed last time, that I mean we need to have the feel for the product. Next, like buyer acquisition, we need to, nowadays, I'm getting the fabric from India and making it profitable in Bangladesh. But I'm sure it can be made in Bangladesh also. Mr. Nair has asked me how we can make the difference in Bangladesh and this. Everybody talk Bangladesh labor is cheap. That is a perception. But the fundamental is, in India we are more logical, but because of compulsion, Bangladesh become more practical to take the advantage of the logic. I will give an example. Bangladesh wages may be 40% higher. But if we calculate in terms of FOB, 40% higher means, in terms of FOB, it will have an impact maximum 6% to 5%. Being in India, can't be productive more by 5%, can't be take the advantage of the raw material by 5%, saving the CNF expenses. But again, back to square one. It is our mindset, Bangladesh is cheap. Wherever we have seen the statistic, Germany is not cheap, Turkey is not cheap, France is not cheap. They are doing $20 billion export. So it is our perception and thought process. Long-term business planning in a stabilized cycle. What is our current process mindset? Is order received, ask for quotation, select vendor, and deliver. Lead time is high and less preference by you. Stabilize cycle, understand market trend and buyer, speculate fabric requirement, pre-book capacity, place order, better lead time, price and preference. Now, to create that organization, we need to create people first. To create a people, apart from the people, we need to create from autocratic style to the DSS style. I have given some example, decision support system style, that how the planner can save their time or entrepreneur can save their time without wasting even 1 hour or 2 hours, wasting time in a meeting on a daily or weekly basis. He can spend 5 minutes on his computer or SMS. He knows where he is moving, heading towards. There are opportunities available to create a good organization. The successful success story in India is passion of few mad people. So I say that success, madness, we call it a passion in India, but it needs to be redefined. I'm just giving some synopsis of one of the successful businessmen from Japan, where he defined the passion in a new words. Passion, P stands for profit, A stands for ambition, S for sincerity, S for strength, I for innovation, O for optimism, N for never give up, and now. That is the only way we can evolve this industry. And I mean it when I say this. It is not an issue of labor cost. It is not an issue of finance cost. It is not an issue of productivity. It is only an issue of integrating our thought process and creating the mechanism using our intelligentsia, not for analysis, for creating an organization in a way where organization drive the business and entrepreneur develop the people. Thank you.